Greetings, Sunshine the God is here with a message for those who know. First, I want to start out by saying who I am and who my platform is for to make sure y'all are, as my good friend Eve the Empath would say, vibrating in the right places, right? Because I'm not one that's going to be waking people up. That's not my thing. But what I can do is support the people who have woken up and who are looking for tribe and community now that they're in a different space in life, that they have accepted their divinity. Like I have fully accepted my divinity. I understand that all of the circumstances in my life up to this point have been co-creations between me and other guys that are here walking around the earth in order to grow our souls and evolve and learn the lessons that we want to learn in life. And if you have that understanding or desire to attain that understanding, then the content that I put out is for you. If not, if you're looking outside of you and thinking that God is somewhere in the sky or some external entity, then this programming might not be for you, and you may want to just slizzy slide on out of here. Okay. So now that I got that out of the way, shout out to my tribe. I'm very glad that you are here. Those of you who know or whatever, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm grateful for you watching the programming that I put out. And I hope that this message resonates with you and helps you in your journey to evolve your soul. So, shout out to Cosmo of the Learner Society. If y'all not fucking with him, y'all should fuck with him. He is my muse, my inspiration, right? The man be creating content all the time, like no matter what's going on in his life, no matter what obstacles he's facing, he get online and he create his content, and that inspires me because, like, to be honest with y'all, I've created some beautiful circumstances for myself. I'm in a great position for myself in life. I don't have any stress or any type of disharmony going on in my life. So me not creating content is really no excuse for it. You know what I'm saying? I really should be pursuing my passion and my purpose and putting out content. So hey, that's what I'm here doing today. Yeah. But shout out to Cosmo just for inspiring me and reminding me how fortunate that I am and how it don't make no sense for me not to be doing my thing, because I have definitely been in different states, in states of desire and states of lack, throughout my life. And now that I'm not in those places, like, who am I not to give back and not to be authentic to myself and follow my purpose and my passion? All right, that's my introduction. Before I got on here, I did pull some crystal cards or whatever, just to get messages from my spirit to my 3D reality. Whenever I do divination, I don't think that it's anything external speaking to me. It is just a manifestation of the energies that I'm in right now and helping me to understand where I'm at, what I can focus on, and how I can move to a higher version of myself that is more authentic to me. And the card that I pulled from the deck that I was shuffling was this Garnet card. And it's a little blurry. Let me see if I can clear it up some for it. There you go. And around Garnet, you see these keywords here. I like those keywords. It says, "My country is the world and my religion is to do good." And that is so in line with my message that I have today. The stone about Garnet is the stone about Garnet. The properties of Garnet kind of help you to embrace your courage, you know what I'm saying, and pursue your passions. I got a few other cards or whatever that come from other decks that kind of describe what they are. I'm going to post on my Instagram like a little brief of like each of the cards so you can see the cards and what they mean. So definitely follow me on Instagram. It's at Shira Sunshine. I also post them on my coaching page, which is at School of Manifest on Instagram. So if you are into crystals and you want to see, just like what I come up from my card pulls and what I interpret from the messages that I take from the cards, you can do that. But I'm going to hop right into this. The purpose of me getting on here today was to tell you all a story. So I did my podcast last week. I recorded a podcast, and in the podcast, the current events topic was April Jones, and we were talking about how she kind of has gone from one partner to another, and those partners have just so happened to be friends or people that knew one another and work in the same industry. And I was expressing how, like, I don't have a problem with dating somebody's friend of who I dated before, and vice versa. I don't have a problem with, people dating, my exes. Like, those are my exes. It's cool. You can date them. Like, it's no issue, no problem, and I'm not going to end a friendship because someone decided to date my ex, or even take it personally. Like, the things that people do, they do as a result of who they are, and it's more about them than it is anything else. And so when we take things personally or think we have ownership or possession of other people, we cause ourselves unnecessary suffering. And so that's what I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to tell you all a story about how I developed and like came to this conclusion and how I evolved into this, because that has not always been my state of mind or the way that I felt or thought. So I'm gonna hop right into it. The one thing that I do want to say is I understand that everybody is a mirror for me. And the people who I'm about to talk about co-created with me these circumstances in order for us to evolve our souls. I don't have any ill will or feelings toward anybody. Like, I'm Gucci with everybody. I love everybody. All I got, is love for everybody. I'm not mad at y'all. I'm really not. And in the event that someone sees this and is offended by the way that I describe different circumstances that I've experienced in my life, all I can say is, baby, it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? So if you didn't want somebody to talk about it, maybe you shouldn't have done it. Or shit, maybe you should. Maybe you should go within you and you should figure out why it's triggering or bothering you for me to be talking about these situations. But that's my little disclaimer. Just, it's no ill feelings or ill will. But I do know that certain people do be still watching what I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? Even though they don't really fuck with me. So I just want to put that out there for y'all because I love y'all, you know what I'm saying? And I appreciate y'all's attention because attention is currency. So, I also understand that my relationship with others was only just a reflection of my relationship with myself, and that anything that anybody else did to me was just a reflection of what I was doing to myself. Okay, so I don't see anybody as, problematic or nothing like that. As a matter of fact, the young lady who ended up dating my ex, like, she was an amazing friend to me. She helped me in some of my darkest times. I was getting evicted from my place because my ex decided that he just wasn't going to pay his half of the rent, wasn't going to tell me nothing about it. I come to my house to get in my door, can't get in my shit, and I call her, and my house was a fucking mess, okay? And when I say a fucking mess, I mean a fucking mess. I was deep off in my depression. The house was in complete disarray, and she came and she helped me gather up my shit and get the fuck out of there. And I will eternally be grateful to her for that. And that's why it don't matter who she would have fucked after me. Like, she always got a space in my motherfucking heart. I'll fuck with her. You know what I'm saying? I'm that type of person. I never forget what you done for me. You know what I'm saying? Now, I also don't forget what people done to me, and I am real with myself and honest with myself about who people are, and I don't give people chance after chance after chance after chance to keep fucking me over, but when somebody have done for me, you know what I'm saying, I keep that in mind, and I always have, those positive vibes for them, right? Okay, so into the story. I'm dating this dude. We go to church together. We on a worship team together. Like, everything. When you say whirlwind romance, we had a whirlwind romance, and that's, I guess, one of those things about why I chose the path where I get to date narcissists. Because if you have ever dated anyone who suffers from narcissistic personality disorder or shows a lot of narcissistic traits, then you know that those first 3 months of their relationship were amazing. Like, all your dreams had come true. You just thought, oh my god, it's so great, everything is perfect. I loved it so much. We had so much fun together. We were even like sharing a best friend. I was sharing my best friend with him because he's my best friend first, right? And we used to call ourselves, we had a group chat. It was called JBA because we was like Jay, Z, Beyonce, and Kanye, right? That was our relationship. So, and we was serious as fucking in 3 motherfucking months. Like, his parents had come to visit, and I met his parents. Our kids knew one another. We was talking about ways to combine our little families and stuff or whatever. Mind you, when we started dating, the man was still legally married. on paper, like they had been separated for several months, but he was still legally married. And shit, to this day, I'm still legally motherfucking married. So we wasn't really finna do shit. But we had it all planned out, right? And like my mom had came to visit one time. He sat across the dinner table from my mom and told my mama that he wanted to marry me. And we just had this beautiful romance. Needless to say, sugar went to shit real quick. Like after we had those 3 wonderful months or whatever, like he did his thing. Like he ended up bringing some girl, to church. I'm leading worship. We had probably, we really didn't even really break up. He just kind of like ghosted me, if you will, a little bit. Stopped responding to my messages, and then he just pops up at church with a new bitch, and I'm like, is it this nigga? Okay, let me try to stay focused on the Lord. And this bitch sitting in the audience and shit. Okay, so that was how our relationship ended. It was real foul, was real fucked up, right? So while we were dating, one day me and my homegirl, we had went to a pumpkin patch. It was the two of us and our sons. We went to a pumpkin patch and we were just walking around. It was real cute, you know what I'm saying? Like real cute, like girlfriend, homegirl stuff. Like we had some really good times as friends, right? And so we sat down on a park bench after we got done, walking the kids through the pumpkin patch or whatever, and we was talking. And she told me, I had a dream that there were 3 tornadoes. It was me, you, and my boyfriend at the time. She was like, and there was just so much destruction and da right? And so at the time, I was like trying to interpret, the dream or whatever, because she always have a lot of dreams, right? But I didn't think, nothing much of it. I was just like, I wonder what that means. In hindsight, I do remember her telling me, like, before he and I hooked up, that she was attracted to him, that she found him attractive. But I didn't think nothing of it. So fast forward a year. So we dated for like those 3 months. And then I started going, like, all hell broke loose in my life, right? I started going through what I now recognize as a dark night of the soul. I had everything kind of like stripped from me, including like my religious affiliations and like the majority of my friendships and connections and my family connections and things. Everything just kind of like went to shit. And I moved away, like out of town from where her and my ex live at, right? And so one day we was on the phone, we was just chit-chatting or whatever. And she said something about being assigned to work with him, right? I was like, oh, okay, cool. They working together in ministry. And it was something weird about like her tone when she explained it, but I didn't think much of it. So a couple months after that, I decided that I'm going to go, visit and go to like a little church conference or whatever. Now, mind you, I don't go to church no more. Like I had tried to go a couple times, but it just wasn't resonating with me anymore. I wasn't able to continue to contribute to the organization from an energy standpoint because of like my own personal beliefs and different things that I started to understand about the organization. But I was still like, oh, I miss the fellowship, the, friends or whatever. Anybody who's ever been through a spiritual awakening understands that shit get lonely. It should get lonely as fuck. But it's intentional for you to be able to sit with yourself, understand yourself. So I would encourage anybody that's going through that, like, don't be trying to connect to old stuff. Like, just release all of that stuff. Take the time that you need to sit with yourself, go within yourself, connect with yourself, and connect yourself to your intuition, and let the divinity that is within you connect you to other people instead of you trying to go back to old connections, because that shit is only going to teach you more as to why you shouldn't be connected to them, right? So I go, we on the phone, we planning a visit or whatever. She's like, oh yeah, you can come, you can stay with me, whatever. Okay, so I show up the night of the conference or whatever, and we parked and we getting out the car or whatever, and then we get to the door, and right when we get to the door, it's the leaders standing at the door, my ex, and then me and Janelle are walking into the door, and a couple other leaders were there as well, and everybody's kind of looking at me like, and I was like, okay, they haven't seen me in a while, or they don't know what's going on with me. I got some personal shit going on with me at the time that I was embarrassed about. So I was like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? They think, or I didn't know, I really didn't know what to think, but I definitely felt a weird ass vibe. And so, I'm doing my hellos and all that stuff anyway. I was back then a little I want to say, yeah, it was a little inauthentic, and feeling like I had to be nice and bubbly and kind all the time, and hey everybody, and da-da-da-da, even with people who I didn't necessarily have the most healthy, loving relationships with. Like, really one of the leaders, she had, like, really deeply offended and hurt me or whatever, but I was on some, oh, you gotta take the high road and, treat people this way even though they shit on you and da-da-da-da-da or whatever. So anyway, long story short, I was very friendly to everybody, even though I could tell there was definitely something up. I just did not know what. So we go through service is cool or whatever, and then we go to get to the car. And my ex is carrying, her son out to the car because he's still like in a car seat carrier at that point. And so, he puts in a car or whatever. And I'm thinking, oh, look at you being a good deacon or whatever, was his title at the time. I was like, cool or whatever. I didn't think nothing of it. And so we get ready to pull off. And she gets on the phone. And she using her, women got a different voice when they're on the phone with their man. You know when somebody's on the phone with somebody that they fucking on or that they're interested in. I'm not going to say they fuck because I don't know whether or not they fuck. But if they did, jokes on her. But whatchamacallit, they on the phone chit-chatting or whatever. And now I dated the man for quite some time, and so I'm very familiar with his energy pattern and his voice at this point. So I'm like, when she gets off the phone, I said, was that my ex? And she was like, girl, it's a long story. I was like, oh shit. This drugged me out here. And then so she was like, we'll talk about that later or whatever. And she tried to go on in the conversation and talk about what we was going to do over the next couple of days and yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. I was like, sis, I can't get, like past the fact that you was in your girlfriend voice and you was on the phone with my ex. You know what I'm saying? And we ain't had no conversation about nothing. You ain't told a bitch nothing. So, like, come up off that tea. And so long story short, we get to her house or whatever, and we sitting down, we talking. I'm a very understanding, kind, loving person. Like, baby, tell me the story. And so, long story short, she's been prophesied to that my ex is her husband by the lady who don't like me, right? And she just, has talked to him about what went on between us, and we weren't all that serious. And, we basically he told her that when he was with me, it wasn't shit, it was just something he was doing or some shit like that. I don't know what the fuck she was saying. In which I was transparent with her when, he and I were talking or whatever, and she knows the nature of the relationship that we had. And so I'm pissed off. I'm livid as fuck. I'm like, let me get the fuck out of here, out of this girl house or whatever. I was just like, I can't sleep over here. I got to go. So I called my best friend. Shout out to Naseem Ali. I called my best friend. I was like, best friend, you got to come get me from over here. I got to get the fuck from over here. The fuck from over here. And he came pick me up. And I was trying to, tell her to come lock her front door or whatever. And she was asleep in her room. And so I knocked on the door, and then I realized the door was locked. I was like, this bitch thought I was going to try to come in her room and do something while she was asleep. She didn't lock the motherfucking door. So I woke her up, and I ended up leaving her or whatever, right? And so fast forward, we ended up making amends from that situation and whatever, you know what I'm saying? Really, at the end of the day, I wasn't so much upset that, she was dating him. Because, like, sis, by all means, do you. I am over him and, finished and done with that situation. I learned what I needed to learn. I'm good to go. If you need to learn some similar lessons, have the fuck at it. You know what I'm saying? But it was the thing of like, why invite me to your house and you've been doing all of this behind my back in a way to slight me with someone who dislikes me at the lead of doing something that would be offensive to me. And my thing is like, had you told me and not had me looking stupid coming up there, like I wouldn't have felt, the way that I felt about it. But my ego was bruised at that point. You know what I'm saying? I was embarrassed. And so since then, I have been able to kind of heal the part of me that gives a fuck about what other motherfuckers think about me. And I'm able to just accept people for who they are, and whatever people's opinions are, those are their opinions. It don't have nothing to do with me. I don't take them personally. Like, anybody can think whatever the fuck they want to think about me. You know what I'm saying? I can't control other people's thoughts. I can't control other people's actions. And I now understand, like, the lesson that I was trying to teach myself in all of that about just being authentic with myself and accepting who the fuck I am. Because I can't say that at that time in my life, I wasn't lying to myself on a lot of levels. You know, so that's why I attracted that energy into my life of someone to deceive me. You know what I'm saying? I can't say that I wasn't being disingenuous with myself on a lot of levels. So, of course, the leadership at that organization will be disingenuous to me. You know, I can't say that I wasn't betraying myself on a lot of levels. So, of course, my friend and the leadership and my ex would do things that I would perceive as betrayal in that moment. And I understand that why I attracted out of those situations and what there was to gain and to learn in those situations. And so if there's anybody out there that's in a situation where your best friend has dated your ex or something like that, and you're feeling like it's the most painful thing that could ever happen to you and you won't get past it, sis, you will. It's not as big of a deal as what it may feel like in the moment. And you can definitely get past that shit. You don't have to let somebody else's choices determine your emotional state. Like, I definitely been where you at. I even tried to like get into some of those emotions in this session so that you can see, like, I definitely been in that place. And you can choose some different shit. You don't have to be sad and depressed and upset about it. You don't have to hold a grudge against anybody. You don't have to take that shit personally. Let them people be. You know what I'm saying? If they happy, if they not happy, if they learn lessons, if they don't learn lessons, like, that's all on them. All you can do is take from it and say, hey, if things are happening in my life and in my circumstances that I don't like with the people that are around me, what can I change about my relationship with myself in order to attract some different things? And my upbringing, I was often told that the way that I treat others would determine how other people treat me. But one thing that wasn't explained to me is the way that I treat myself is what I'm going to attract in my relationships with other people. And that's a very key thing. Anything that you're experiencing in a relationship with someone else is a reflection of your relationship with yourself. So if you don't like the outcomes of the relationships that you're having, change your relationship with yourself. Go within yourself, get in tune with yourself, and change what you got going on with you. And you'll see the relationships that are outside of you, external to you, begin to change. So I hope y'all enjoyed my little story time or whatever. There are like several other pieces attached to this story that I would tell. Like, I'm going to tell the story between me and the leadership at that particular religious organization because it's so motherfucking funny. Well, now it's funny. Then that shit was not funny, but now it's funny. And I'm really grateful for you all tuning in. Like I said, I hope that the people that are vibrating here are those who resonate. And if you don't resonate with my messages, cool. You don't have to listen. I don't really want to hear all the riffraff and the yin yang and about what you think I should and should not be talking about. You can keep that. Yeah, you can keep that. And for those of you who understand and who know, I appreciate you for tuning in. I love you very much. Make sure that you're following me on Instagram, on TikTok, on Snapchat, because I'm always dropping jewels. I'm always giving knowledge. And make sure that you're checking out my podcast. It's Rising Sunshine with Shira featuring Love Moni B. That's kind of what this spun off of. I wanted to give like my insight on my personal experience with having someone date a friend, because I know that my opinion and the stance that I have now is not traditional. It's outside of what society would accept. Like my co-host was saying, like, it's fighting words if you date somebody ex or some shit like that, but it ain't gotta be. You know what I'm saying? It's a choice that we make. So again, check out my podcast, follow me on all platforms. Make sure you like and subscribe, like this video and subscribe to my channel. And make sure you turn on notifications so that you get notified whenever I'm on. Excuse me, I pre-recorded this video, but I'm going to start going live like I've been instructed. So that I can share these messages on a regular basis. I got a lot of stories like this. I got a lot of different things that I created in my life to teach myself lessons, and I'm happy to share those lessons with you all. And maybe I can either save you from going through some shit that I went through, or help you get through some shit that you're going through now that's some shit that I've been through, or help you heal from something that you're still kind of harboring negative feelings about, or that you haven't completely healed from, that was traumatic that happened in your life. So be inspired, be blessed, be on my platform where I am informing and inspiring and congratulating your shift from trauma and drama to health and wealth. Love you.